trial, saying she does not pose a flight risk because of her close ties to the community. Anahita Sedaghatfar is a defense attorney. Now, what is it about Montana where some guy rapes a teenager and gets 30 days, and now this judge lets this woman out? She admits killing her husband, and she just goes free, not even bail.
No bail, I know. I was actually very perplexed as to why the judge let her out, because she is facing a murder 2 charge here. That is serious, but obviously the judge bought the defense arguments that she's not a flight risk, she doesn't pose a threat to anybody else, she had no prior criminal record, at least before this incident. And I think the defense made a pretty good argument here. They said, look, if the authorities really thought that she was such a threat to society, why then did they wait over 2 months to arrest her after she admitted to pushing her husband off of the cliff?
And it's interesting because the prosecutor wanted the judge to stay this release order, whatever it is, and it's probably doubtful you can answer that, whether she goes back to jail or not. But the question becomes, look, she admitted to killing the guy, but she lied about it up until then. She lied 3 or 4 times, and then she says, yeah, okay, I did it, but it was in kind of a, it was an argument and I pushed him, and there was only 2 of them up there. So what does a jury think about that?
Exactly. It's the lies, the lies, the lies. It kind of reminds me of a little case. You may have heard of it, the Jodi Arias case.
Never heard of it.
No, yeah, me neither. But really, it's the lies that I think put her in this situation, because I think she would have had some plausible defense arguments here. I think she could have had a possible self-defense, or at the least an involuntary manslaughter case. Because if you look at the text message that she sent her friend shortly before the incident, she said, look, if you don't hear from me, know that something happened. And I think that could have been used to say she feared her husband, maybe there was some history of domestic violence, but it's the lies that the prosecution is going to really use to prove that she's guilty of murder here.
You mentioned Jodi Arias, and Jodi Arias, they were kind of alone at the time, but there was a trail of evidence. Now, in this case, you know, a lot of the friends say, okay, this couple really wasn't getting along very good, and their marriage, you know, wasn't all that strong, and she might have wanted out. But the truth of the matter is, there were 2 people on that cliff, and so it's very hard for the prosecutor to say she did it this way and she did it with this intent, right?
Absolutely. I think it's kind of hard for both sides because, like you said, there were only 2 people on that cliff. One of them, sadly, is dead, and the other one is a liar. So it's kind of like, what story do you believe? Her credibility is going to be at issue, and I think her credibility is shot at this point because of the lies. Do you believe her the first couple of times she made statements, or do you believe her now that she was actually defending herself, that she only pushed her husband in reaction to him grabbing her arm?
Pushed him in the back. I mean, remember, he says he grabbed her arm, and then she pulled away, and that she could have walked away, but instead pushed him in the back with both hands, and he went over the cliff face first. So if your husband's back is to you, I mean, it's not like you think, well, we're on solid ground here. There's a cliff over there.
Right.
That doesn't bode well.
No, it doesn't bode well. And again, I think the fact that she lied ruins any potential self-defense argument she could have made, because she could have said, look, because of my history of abuse, because I was a battered woman, and again, Jodi Arias rings some bells, that I feared him, that when he grabbed my arm, I turned around and I just reacted. But with the lies, I think she's done.
Anahita Sedaghatfar, who was obsessed with the Jodi Arias trial.
Very
Anahita,
obsessed.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Well, there is much